What's up, guys? Ben here with Hamilton Bait. We are in that fall transition where the days are getting shorter and water temperatures are starting to drop. So fish are starting to feed up and prepare for winter. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna cover one of the most effective ways to catch them in the fall, and that's gonna be on an A-rig. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna cover is gonna be rods. One of the most popular rods in the store for this is gonna be the Dobyns Fury. This is gonna be $139, so it's gonna be a really good budget-friendly rod. And a lot of guys don't like to spend a lot of money on an A-rig rod because it's something that they typically will throw either in the spring or the fall. The nice part about this Fury is it's gonna spec out at 7'9", medium heavy power, fast action, rated for 1 to 5 ounces. So this is going to be something that you can kind of pick up year round, whether or not you're throwing a bigger swim bait or glide bait. Then you can also use it in the fall or the spring to throw any sort of umbrella rig that you've got. All right, another option is going to be the Cashion Core A-Rig rod. This rod's gonna spec out at 7'10", heavy power, moderate fast action, rated from a 1/2 ounce to 1.5 ounces. This rod's gonna come in at just under $200. So if you're looking for that, mid price point rod, that's gonna be a good option for you. And then lastly, in the higher end rods, we've got the Megabass P5 Destroyer Mark 56. This rod's gonna be $525, and it's gonna spec out at 7'6", heavy power, moderate fast action, and it's going to be rated from 3/4 to 3.5 ounces. So as you can see, the one thing that all of these rods are going to have in common is they're all going to be either 7'6" or higher. You're going to want a longer rod when you're trying to make longer casts to get this A-rig out away from the boat as far as possible. So as far as reels go, there's a couple different options depending on what your price point is. One of my favorite options is just going to be the Daiwa Tatula 200. Comes in at $179. So once again, it's going to be a good budget-friendly reel for you. If you're looking for something a little bit higher end, the Tranx 300 would be a good option. All of the reels that I'm going to throw my A-rigs on are going to be in that lower gear ratio. So like the Daiwa Tatula, this is going to be a 6:3 to 1. If I'm going to throw a Tranx, this is a 5:8 to 1. So in my opinion, you're going to want something in that slower gear ratio. It just keeps me from, burning that bait, in too quick, and it allows me to just hover that bait right over the bottom where those. So the reason that I like the Daiwa Tatula 200 is it's a big enough reel that you get enough line capacity, but it's also on the little bit smaller frame size. When you are throwing around a, 8-foot rod, a heavy rig, anything that you can do to reduce the weight as much as possible is going to be important. It's just going to help, reduce fatigue as you're, throwing this thing around all day. All right, so a few of the different rigs that we have available. First one being the new Stealth Lures Stealth Rig. This one's going to be vastly different from other ones that are out there on the market. It's going to have clear, flexible arms, as well as a built-in scent chamber in the head. So you'll be able to add something like bait fuel, and then as you retrieve this thing through the water, it's gonna leave a small trail of whatever your favorite scent is. Another nice feature about this is it comes with a barrel swivel built into the head. So what this is gonna allow you to do is it's just gonna allow you to keep from getting line twist as you're casting this thing out, especially if you're throwing it in the wind. Another one of our best sellers is going to be the Shane's Baits Mini Blades of Glory. The nice part about this is that if you do happen to break one of these arms off, you're able to just buy a set of replacement arms, either for the upper or lower. So it's just going to allow you to save a few bucks without having to replace the entire rig. And lastly, another popular option in the store is going to be the Hog Farmer. They're going to have a ton of different options as far as how many arms you want. Some of the rigs, depending on your location, are going to come pre-assembled with the centering ping spring. So if you're in a state like us in Ohio where you're only allowed 3 hooks to a line, you're going to have to add these on in order to add some dummies. And the nice part about Hog Farmer is that they already come pre-assembled. So it just saves you some time when you're setting your rig up. So depending on how deep I'm fishing, I'm going to typically stay in that 1/8 to 1/4 ounce jig head range. There are a bunch of different options. The Eagle Claw, like I just showed you, is a good one. Jigmaster makes a sled head, which also has a screw lock on it. They also have just your typical round ball head as well too, if you want something like that. And then Big Joshy also has a just round lead jig head as well that'll work great on this too. All right, as far as baits go, I typically like to stay in the 3 to 4 inch range. One of my favorites is gonna be the 3.3 inch Keitech. If I'm looking for something with a little bit smaller profile, I will go with a Megabass 3 inch Spark Shad. And then another great option is the OSP Doe Live Shad in a 3.5 inch. Now, a couple things I do like to do on here is on the center bait, I will typically either like to throw a brighter color or a just larger profile bait. So if I am throwing a 3.3 inch, then one thing I'll do is I'll either upgrade to a 3.8 inch, and I will throw either like a bright white pearl or a electric blue chartreuse. It just gives them something else to key in on. All right, and another thing that I like to do that will sometimes trigger an additional bite or two is I like to take a zoom dye marker in either chartreuse or pink, and I will actually use that and dye the tip of the tail a slightly different color. What you're looking to do is just to give that fish something to key in on. If you've never fished an A-rig in the fall, I highly suggest you consider it and give it a try. It's one of the most fun bites, and half the time when they're really eating this thing, you're gonna double up and triple up, more times than you're gonna catch just single fish on it. So get out there. I hope you enjoyed the content. Please follow along and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys.